The fateful decision to let two men board a flight instead of taking the next one. Nearly 20 years ago, a ticket agent made that fateful decision. They became two of the 9/11 hijackers. And as Gio Benitez reports, that agent has been riddled with guilt in the years since, but he decided to make a difference in another way.
When you come in here and you see that ticket counter, does it bring you back to that morning?
Everything brings you back to that morning.
Vaughn Allex is talking about the morning that changed our world.
Oh my God! There is chaos in New York at the moment. There have been not one but two incidents.
Two late-arriving first-class passengers came rushing through the doors at Dulles International Airport in Virginia.
They're late, they stopped, they were confused, they were looking back and forth, and then they made a beeline for where I was working with my agents.
Vaughn was at the American Airlines ticket counter, training two agents.
We were just sitting around, and two late passengers came running in the terminal, stopped, and I was joking. I looked at my agents, and I said, watch, these two are for Flight 77, and they were.
But as we now know, they weren't just any passengers. They were Salem and Nawaf al-Hazmi, two of the 5 hijackers on Flight 77, which later crashed into the Pentagon. So you had about 20 minutes until that flight?
Well, just under 20 minutes, and I told the agents, because they were new, I said, let me show you how we handle late arriving passengers. And we did everything according to the book.
The two brothers would ultimately go through security. You can see them here in this surveillance video. One of them set off the metal detector. So at what point did you learn what happened with Flight 77?
I walked into the back room to talk to the supervisor on duty, and I said, hey, there's a rumor about 77. Tell me that it's not true. And the three of them just turned around and looked at me, and it was like, get out. And I knew all of the cabin crew. I'd worked with them for years. What I didn't know until about mid-morning, when the FBI was talking to me, was that those last two passengers that I checked in were actually two of the hijackers.
What did you think at that moment?
I looked at them and I said, I did it, didn't I? And they were like, what did you do? And I said, I put those two on the flight. And it was just devastating. It was just absolutely devastating.
An extreme guilt would torture Vaughn for years to come. So much so that still, 20 years later, there are some things he'd rather not discuss. And what was your mind doing in those following years?
I blamed myself. I thought, if I'd have done something different, if I'd not let them on, if I had just said to the agents, these two guys are late, let them get the next flight. We have one at noon. It's no big deal.
And then there's this. The day before, on September 10th, Vaughn convinced a beloved friend and colleague, 64-year-old MJ Booth, to get on that very flight for a vacation.
I wrote her ticket from Dulles to Los Angeles with a connecting flight back to Las Vegas. And then the following day, I saw that she had gotten on the flight on the ticket I'd written.
20 years later, do you forgive yourself?
I realized that there's probably nothing I could have done to prevent what happened. I've come to terms with that.
Vaughn may no longer be working at that American Airlines ticket counter, but he's determined to do anything he can to make sure this doesn't happen again. Because these days, he's working for the TSA, the very agency created in response to the 9/11 attacks.
There were times that I wanted to pull the plug and quit. And my friends and my family were like, if you do that, the terrorists win, they drove you out of your job, stay with it. And I joined Department of Homeland Security, working for the Transportation Security Administration. I feel like the work that they do is so important to keep everybody safe.
A man who played an unintentional role on one of America's darkest days, now doing everything he can to keep us safe. Gio Benitez, ABC News at Dulles International Airport.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.